So guys, I got a call from a good customer. He had a leak behind his vintage pedestal basin. I got there, stuck my head behind this thing, and it was apparent I was going to have to pull the sink out. The problem is I couldn't get the hot and cold water supply lines off. The nuts were frozen to this vintage faucet. So I ended up cutting everything out, pulling out the sink, and basically that's what this video is about, replacing a faucet on a vintage cast iron pedestal basin. Stick around. All right, a little vintage plumbing for your viewing pleasure. When he ran the sink, he saw water coming out the base of the pedestal, and there was a leak in the waste tubing connected. When I tried to remove the sink, I couldn't get the water supplies off, so I had to cut them off. And this pedestal was in place in this existing bathroom, and at one point in time, they actually tiled the floor over, and what they did is they cut around the base of the pedestal. Quite common here in Brooklyn. Anyway, here's a shot. Look at this vintage bathroom. I mean, crazy with this color pedestal in the tub and the old vintage in the wall laundry chute, if you will. Green tiles, black accents, crazy stuff. But see stuff like this every day here in Brooklyn. Anyway, here's this beast of a sink that I removed. I removed the faucet. There was an existing Gerber solid brass widespread faucet on here, and this is a pedestal that's bolted to the base. Actually, the sink has got 3 bolts in it in 3 spots, right, left, and in the front, and it actually gets bolted to the pedestal. And coming up here, you'll see the 3 spots that actually the bolts go through. You'll see one there on the left, one on the right, one in the front, and you match that to the pedestal, which has a series of holes in it, and you just match them up, and there are 3 bolts with some washers and nuts that actually connect the sink to the base. After I got that done, I flipped it over, cleaned out the bottom of where the faucet was mounted, and then it was time to proceed in getting the waste out. But shameless plug here for my Vito Pro Pack open top extra large tool bag. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, I proceeded to start to remove the pop-up tee, and I generally just cut that off, as you see there. And in the bottom of the pop-up tee, that's where the little tubular threaded tailpiece broke off. That's what the original leak was from. And then, unlike most amateurs, I'm not even going to waste my time trying to get that nut off. I just get my hacksaw. I split it right across. And then from there, I'll get a chopping screwdriver, and I'll just pop that nut out. And then after I do that, in this case, this thing was really wedged in there, so I had to get my hammer, and I had to really whack it a few times to start to get it to pop up on the opposite side. And I had to grab it with my channel lock pliers and really yank the heck out of it to get it out of there. Actually, you could see the flanger. I bent it a little bit. It was really stuck in there. But it's typical for these old basins. Like I said, I haven't done one of these in a real long time. And here's a shot of that sink after I removed it. And then I proceeded down to the bottom. I cleaned it off with my putty knife and prepped it, for installation of the new pop-up. And coming up here, you'll see where I prep. There is a strainer portion on the left that goes in the top of the sink. And then there's the T portion that comes up from the bottom on the right. And then I quickly will put some Megalock inside the sink, and I will jump down below the sink, put some Megalock in there, and then I'll proceed to install the pop-up assembly. And then I like to get that all lined up before I put the sink back. I don't do my adjusting later. I do it sooner. Then, I put the nozzle of the faucet in, and I just generally snug it up with my basin wrench. And then you have to play with it because you have to get that rod, the pop-up rod, to clear the nut and the washer. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But anyway, I got it done. And here's a shot of it with the faucet installed. And what I did, I put it back in place. I installed the sink once I had this in, hooked up the hot and cold water supply, turned on the water, and to my dismay, there was water pouring out the back. And after looking at it and trying to figure out what the heck was going wrong, I found that the nozzle, this is a brand new faucet out of the box, the mounting shank there you can see separated. And inside that plastic waterway was cracked. And when I turned the faucet on, the water was just leaking out onto the floor. Anyway, got a hold of Delta. They overnighted me a new nozzle. I went back to reinstall it, put the sink in. Actually, I left the sink in. I didn't take it out. I did it in place, did the installation, and that's how you deal with these pedestal basins, folks. Pain in the neck, but that's vintage plumbing here in Brooklyn, New York. And, not for the faint of heart and not for the amateur. These things take experience. So there you go, folks. As you can see, sometimes things don't go the right way. This job was a pain in the butt, and to top it off, when that nozzle was leaking, I was like, I can't believe this. This has never happened to me before, especially with a Delta product. But anyway, I called up Delta. They overnighted the new nozzle to me. We got the job done and everybody was happy. I mean, my customer was a little inconvenienced, but you know what? Sometimes these things happen. Guys, I want to thank you once again for stopping by the channel. If you're not already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of when I post new videos. But more importantly, hit that like button. If you don't hit that like button, YouTube is not going to show these videos to anybody. Folks, I'm honored you stopped by. I know you have choices when looking for plumbing help. I want to say I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Stay well. And as always, happy plumbing.